Hey everyone, Teehashee here, continuing our Thought Process RogueTech gameplay commentary, and we are looking at making our way to Itram for another story mission. And I think on our way there, we will start our discussion of probably going to do the Marauder this time around. Let's look at engineering. Mech Bay 3 seems like the obvious thing to go for. Sponge boy, me Bob. You're stealing all me money. Alright, these are mechs we won't need for our trip there. Looks like all of our people are back on active duty. So in this game, they gave the Marauder a command module. So as long as you put a great sniper in it and some reasonably hard-hitting guns, like we've got, the Marauder is a major threat and a great salvage mech. Okay, let's hit not yet. I don't think there's too much we can do here other than promote our MechWarriors. More gunnery for you. Let's see, max health or called shot mastery and indirect fire penalty. Pretty clear that that's what we want. Probably good to finish him. Decker's done. So we'll bring Decker on because it's a story mission, but usually when our mech warriors are maxed, we retire them. Not to say that we're going to kick them to the curb, but let's look at this for a second. 3-hit defense, pretty much a must-have. But yeah, they'll definitely be seeing a lot less missions until we have need of them. Okay, so Proxima here. What have we got? We have 2 snipers, and we've also got 2 2 lancers, I should say, and 2 gladiators. It really does give them names for us. So the lancers are a lot more niche compared to the gladiators, so that's probably what we'll buy into. It's a shame because we could have bought that and we had the points for it and all that stuff, so but we don't really need it. Sledge is coming along. I'm probably gonna make him a frontline ace pilot, which means we need to buy out these skills here pretty soon. Who else is left? Our commander's got some points left, +3 hit defense, recoil penalty. That's all nice enough. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, so this is a really hot planet. Yank those out, yank this out. Tempted to bring the Panther just because it is so heat efficient. Not that that's like the biggest deal, because of course the fire starter can be heat inefficient, but cycle its weapons much more efficiently. The Panther's got to keep shooting its guns to be worth anything. We'll probably bring the fire starter. And then what do we need? A medium mech? We're bringing a Kintaro. Here it is. And we're probably going to take Glitch out and bring Behemoth. Take out... I wonder... I feel like Ace Pilot is going to be too important, as well as the additional evasion. So we're probably... I was just considering a different option. I think Glitch in the Marauder is just too good, though, despite losing out on the heat efficiency. Those headshots. So yeah, I guess before we go in there, let's just look at this Lance Command module. So a cold shot bonus for the pilot and damage reduction for the Lance. And then you can see, we've looked at this before, but we're just going to do it again because we have the opportunity. Here's the battle computer. Our entire Lance gains 1 initiative, but the Cyclops will have +2 initiative. And then the advanced command mod will increase everyone's accuracy again, great for the Marauder, and then we will take less damage as well. So basically just makes, despite these mechs not cranking out the most firepower, it makes our mixed lance pretty durable. Okay, here we go. And then loading screen, hopes and dreams. I saw a nice image online of a guy. It's kind of nice and sad, but Afghan refugees at a German, I think it's an airport or it might be a military base. I can't remember which. But there's a nice American soldier. He looks like he's Army, I'm pretty sure, playing the ukulele for the Afghani kids. And they're separated by a fence. It looks like the kids are in a cage, which is, again, it's a pretty depressing image on one regard, but in the other, the kids seem to be genuinely enjoying that soldier playing for them. So, and I'm sure those folks are happy to be out of Afghanistan. Doesn't matter which side of the chaos you're on. It's nice to get away. After meeting lots of Palestinian refugees myself, from different stages in that conflict, they're all a lot happier to be out of their respective countries. Okay. So I think we're conducting a raid, if I remember right. It's kind of like a stealth mission too, if I remember this one right. This is all so this is all gameplay. This is all video game stuff, right? Well, it's true in warfare you might find an enemy that would destroy their own resources like that. Um, it's quite a bit less likely that they actually have them wired already to, like, just in case someone comes, these things are ready to go up. So, anyway. It's pretty easy to stumble into, like, for instance, if you stumble into a line of sight, it raises the alarm, and if you get detected by moving in and out of their line of sight or sensor range, it also raises the alarm. So it can be a little tricky to figure out how to do this right, but I've done this mission a few times, and I think I've got it, he says overconfidently. So here's the road, and you can, as long as you don't screw up this flank, you can actually break wide on the left flank and climb this hill and get the jump on some unsuspecting kids. And that's what we're going to try and go for. So here's the Marauder. Its stock build isn't too bad. I don't believe in having multiple PPCs on any platform. You only, if you're going to have one at all, you only ever need one. That's my opinion. They're advantages versus disadvantages of using them like that is gets way too crippling way too fast. Again, you don't have to agree with that, but I do consider that the case. Also, with it being a 75-ton mech, there's a lot of competition because the 75-ton slot in both MechWarrior 5 and okay. So far, they haven't responded to us somehow. Let's go ahead and jump. Cause so 75 tonners, I'm probably even gonna forget some. And I like this isn't even counting like I mean the Mad Cat is 75 tons. If you really want to be unfair about the 75-ton slot, but even if you're not, you've still got like the Orion, which is a pretty safe side grade to the Marauder. But then you also have the Black Knight, which is king of the mountain, in my opinion. Marauder does have its command module, which definitely for this game tips the balance in its tips the balance in its favor some. But more than likely, as soon as I have a Black Knight, I will build at least one of them to bring the heat, and we can do some one-on-one trials. It is hard to say just because the Marauder with a sniper in it, like if you're shooting mechs in the head and they're dying instantly anyway, it doesn't matter how much damage the Black Knight does. But that's kind of kind of an elitist argument, in my opinion. Something you would expect a min maxer or a WoW player to argue, where that sort of like long term baseline consistent performance, you definitely get that out of the Black Knight. It's got so many guns on him, and it's very easy to still kill mechs in one hit with an Alpha Strike from that, as well as doing your sort of similar responsible gameplay things like cycling your guns and doing all of that. You know, still has major advantages. So, but we'll do some one-on-one trials because I've never done that before. That'll be fun. I'm gonna sprint these guys up here, and because you basically want them right up on this bluff, and then the next turn you want to spring into action. Okay. Looks like we're ready. Other than that, the Marauder is a fairly cut and dry sniping mech. 2 PPCs, autocannon 5, and then medium laser support. We'll shoot that SRM carrier in just a bit. I think we'll do... Let's try and take out the blackjack. We're just going to check our shots. Looks like 33, 33, 33. Yeah. Blackjack definitely, other than the SRM carrier, of course, has the strongest Alpha Strike. Okay. I think I can get the Cyclops to kill the SRM carrier. I would think so. Yep, definitely. Or definitely not. Wow. Well, post your ripperonis in the chat for that one, guys, because I physically can't believe that that thing didn't die. Anyway, not the end of the world. What happened here? Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to shoot SRMs at it. Shoot 2 of them just to make extra sure. Am I having a stroke? How is this thing not dead? What has happened? What is going on? Okay. Took 3 mechs shooting at it to bring it down. One shot was an Alpha Strike. Alright. Um, Probably just gonna wait, let the fire or the commando move. We're gonna wait for the Kintaro as well. Okay. So here's the Marauder. There we go. Not too worried about getting shot in the back on this mission. I think we've got our pick for melee attacks. Probably gonna hit the Griffin. Mostly because of the unfortunate orientation of this commando. It means it's gonna absolutely get pounded in the rear. You can make your own jokes. And we should have so much priority or initiative, however you want to call it, that they aren't going to be able to do much to stop us at this point. And Medusa can just wait. I mean, it doesn't really matter because we can do coolant dump. You have to transition to the next location, and if you do have cooldowns, it gives your cooldowns a lot of time to cycle. Duh. So yeah, Marauder also decent in melee combat in this game, despite not having hand actuators. But the way they do the chassis quirk bonus, I think, just basically boils down to, whatever they read out of the lore or knew themselves. If the mech itself had some sort of fancy function, they said, oh, it's got a chassis quirk. Pew pew. All right. I think we'll just waddle up here. As you can see on mine, I did my typical sort of de-gunning tactic, and took the medium lasers off of it, took the PPCs off of it, because in this game all you need is one gun to produce some sort of long-range impact damage on a sniper, and so we went with the LBX autocannon instead of the PPC. And a lot of that's coming from us fitting There we go. A lot of that just comes from us fitting those jump jets on most of our mechs. We'll look into it. We'll probably look down the road. We'll be looking into ER large lasers. In neither game do ER medium lasers appear, which is a real shame, but it's because, I mean, it's pretty clear that if that was a thing, it would just be medium lasers are already really central to all battle mechs, and to push that and make that even better probably hurts game balance. Okay, so we're gonna move up here. Trying not to get lost in the smog. There we go. The map seems like it was basically designed for the player to take this route that we're taking, knock the first one out, and then come around. It gives you terrain to work with. It gives your mechs opportunities to cool down and all of that. It doesn't require jump jets, if I remember correctly. So, alright. Let's get our big chonky kids up here. Marauder moves at 65 kph, pretty much average for its weight. But that's not really a bad thing. Just average. Oh, I see. We have people on scopes. And then alternate variants of the Marauder. Canon-wise, there aren't too many. There are alternate variants of the Marauder. There's the Marauder Mark II, which is an assault mech, very much akin to the Magcat Mark II. They have sort of similar popularity and similar histories in that regard, because it does become, what is it? Is it 80 tons or something? 85 tons? I don't remember. And features jump jets, and so they're pretty similar in that regard. And then there's the Rakshasa, I think is the pronunciation, which is a modified Marauder design in response to the Magcat. And it's so named because I think the Rakshasa is a mythological creature that's all about masquerading as something that it's not, which is, of course, the Marauder masquerading as a Magcat. So we want to reserve and march the EE Cyclops up here to see if it actually has line of sight on this 50-tonner. If not, we're not in position yet. There it does. What we could do is we could sprint it up and kick this party off right. That's what we'll probably do. Surprise! Giant, well-armored assault mech marching through the mist. What are you gonna do? Okay. Trebuchet, Locust, and a 60 tonner. Don't know what the 60 tonner is. Don't really care either. What I think we'll do is we'll jump the Marauder up here. She's still sinking heat, interestingly enough. Probably the Trebuchet is the thing to shoot in the face. The Centurion AL, I mean, it's a Centurion. You all know how I feel about Centurions. And then the Locust. We'll do this headshot thing. We'll let something else kill the Locust. Probably the Kentaro. Hard to believe that that was a precision shot. I think we can clear this formation. Yeah, so we'll just do that. It almost looks like I misclicked the leg. I don't know what happened. Just go for center of mass on the Centurion. Pretty decent shooting. Realistically, we might kill that thing. Pew pew. Medium lasers. That's where it's at. Other than that, what else can I tell you guys about the Marauder? It's a fairly durable mech. It's definitely, if you use it properly, the Marauder lasts a long time because its range profile is exceptional, especially if you're using it stock. I'm kind of tempted to jump in there and try and kill that Centurion because realistically, it could happen if the thing would listen to me. There we go. All kind of comes down to his shooting here. It wasn't good enough, but we'll probably still kill it this turn. Locust barely even counts. Whoops. What happened? Oh, we got a headshot in there. Sorry, Medusa. I'm worried if we don't precision strike, it's gonna take the entire lance to bring this thing down, which would be quite annoying. There we go. Yeah, that was the right call. We don't have enough to do another headshot, but we do have other targets to shoot at, so it's not a big deal. We can just wait till the next round. We could also cycle her weapons, would be smart. That's what we'll do. got a fast moving target and a shotgun. We might as well just use it as God intended. But yeah, it is funny that you have that what is it on Smithin, that other hot mission that's like, I don't even remember. It's like 3 skulls, and all of these other missions you do are way easier than that mission, and that's the first hump you got to get over. Now, don't get me mad, or don't get me wrong. It's not like games need to have like a flat difficulty curve or even like a linear difficulty curve. Like there should be spikes in there to keep the blood flowing, right? To give the player stuff to figure out. But when it's tilted like that, basically, I used to not do Smithin until I had a full lance of heavy mechs, and then even you could do this with a full lance of heavy mechs, and you'll definitely have assault mechs by then. So here you are still doing 3 skull missions, and we could definitely already field a lance of assault mechs. Like you'll have the Highlander at least. That's the Highlander gets gifted to you, so you definitely have that on hand. And this whole thing is great for the Highlander because of how heat efficient it is. This Locust is looking very sad. I think just missiles will be enough to kill it. I mean, we have coolant vent again, so we'll coolant vent. We're standing on the ice here, and we'll fire everything just to make sure it dies. There we go. Might be some salvage there. That locust that is nothing but a pair of twiggy little legs. That's all that's left of it. Alright, let's walk up here. Let's pretend like we didn't shoot everything into your leg last time. Double check, we're aiming for the head. Turn all of our guns on and let loose the dogs of war. Nope, just not. Glitch is just not feeling it today. Well, maybe. I don't know. Know who is feeling it today, though? The boss man. Right? Right. Not right. Okay. Must be an LRM carrier over there. I think it's also facing away from us, so we'll probably just go do bad stuff to it here in a second. Alright, here's Behemoth. Let's see what this thing is. It is an LRM carrier. Actually, looking right at its nose, interestingly enough. Well, here can go one of those things where we shoot it in all different parts of the vehicle. I think we can walk the Cyclops around into line of sight of the thing. Yeah, we can. Let her rip. It's the end of you. I feel like I dinked around for a bit too long on this one. It's going to kind of come down to the wire, which is not really what I intended. Okay. Alright. All we got is Silo Charlie. And the route is pretty much a straight shot down this valley. I think we'll pilot our slower mechs in a straight line there. And we'll take this wider route. There we go, with our faster mechs. And then I already spoke a little bit about the aesthetics of the Marauder, how I find it strangely long and strangely skinny, to the point where it seems like you could give it a decent push from the side and it would just tumble over. An issue that the Magcat doesn't have, at least aesthetically. The Magcat is much more squat. Its design seems to make, as much as mech design ever makes sense, it seems to make a little bit more sense. Try not to overextend. So yeah, I think especially because it's like its hips aren't really that much wider than its shoulders. I mean, it still kind of makes sense because like anatomically that's how a lot of things are. But it's just a little bizarre that it is so skinny. The best comparison is the comparison that I already made with the king crab, which is kind of disc shaped like a crab, right? But its legs and its arms are pretty far out away from the center of mass. Alright, let's continue to sprint you up there. It barely wants to do that for some reason, so we're going to jump it instead. Marauder is also struggling to sink heat. Double heat sinks will make all of our mechs a lot better, but it's still weird that that's a problem that it's got. I think we will sprint up here. Wave our fannies at these guys. Cicada, another 60-tonner, some sort of missile boat, I'm sure. No fear getting up close and personal with the Cicada. With an SRM carrier, though, that's a little different. That's a bigger issue. Okay. So that's our element of surprise. Uh, Again, back in the day, though I talk about this all the time, you used to be able to attack right upon making line of sight. Now the enemy can do that. So the defender has, strangely, has the initiative, has the first strike, and the attacker does not anymore. And that design choice was probably built just around this mission specifically, right? Because this really is like, oh, they're not ready for you. Go take advantage of that. And you can't anymore. Um, I have mixed feelings about that to an extent, but the game doesn't lose very much because you really used to be able to do a lot of shenanigans that you probably shouldn't have been able to do by getting that free opening shot. Like, for instance, if, and it's not even that big an if, it happened plenty. If you could get in there, get all of your mechs in position at the right time, you could alpha strike all of your units on the opening shot and destroy an enemy unit outright. And, that's not very good balance. Probably just going to wait for the cicada to make its play. And obviously that's like realistic. Again, it's not, doesn't always make a lot of sense to make arguments of realism when you're like in giant space robots, right? But in terms of military tactics, like you could definitely do that, and it's a widely employed tactic to conduct a successful ambush and hopefully kill or disable an enemy unit before it even knows you're there. Like that's a thing that definitely happens in warfare. Especially if you're the like underdog insurgent group like we are in this one. Um, but no big deal. Because what you lose in tactical advantage, you gain in fairness. And, you know, we can always stand to have a little bit more fairness in the world. Okay. None of these are terribly impressive mechs. Jenner is guarded. I guess we'll just shoot it with the LBX. Nothing too fancy. What I think is we'll jump to this far side. And we might do an ace pilot strike the next turn. Bad luck, cicada. It's a tough existence, though, being a cicada. Alright, Medusa. I think the honor is yours. 60 damage. We can definitely crank that out. Yeah, that's death. Then I think we will ace pilot jump. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Jenner is falling back. My leg. Alright, Behemoth can just advance. Actually, she has coolant vent. We have, and she's completely undamaged almost, so we have pretty much nothing to fear from these guys. Alright. How far back is this Marauder? Get her slightly closer. It was enough, actually. I was going to say it's not enough for anything, but it was enough. Pretty good shot. Yep, there we go. That's the end of you. The mask I don't think is in the game, but the Cyclops could definitely benefit from a mask with the way that we use it. Okay. Pew. The Jenner strikes back. Shoots at the Kentaro. Not terribly smart, but no big deal. I think she has her coolant dump. Basically enabling her to do whatever she wants, whatever she needs to. And what we need to do is slice this Jenner in half. Easy peasy. Okay. Pretty successful play, trading their resources for ours, so to speak. Alright. And then all we really have is housekeeping, which isn't too difficult. Nothing too complicated happened during the mission. We made very solid money. And Medusa can spend some time in the hospital. And then for our salvage, as much as we can, we want to finish mechs that we can take to market. Centurion. I think we'll take that piece of blackjack and just roll the dice that we'll get the other piece of it. Plus 10 damage, AC 5, very tempting to take you. Plus 10 damage, medium laser, pretty much necessary. Oh, and we got another one of these incredible small lasers. This is annoying a little bit. It's just an embarrassment of riches, right? I'm not really complaining, but because these are things we will desperately need down the road. Yeah, look at these nice SRM6s as well. We're not using SRM6s right now, but they are very fine. Alright. So we did get 2 mechs completed, so that's okay. We got some other stuff too. Here they're talking about the Mackie. Don't ever really get to see the Mackie represented at all in gameplay. It's the sort of the prototype battle mech that revolutionizes warfare, mostly because of its kind of more of it for its addictive appeal than its actual usefulness in combat, and some politics that made battle mechs a lot more feasible in warfare versus some of the other forms. Okay, she addressed all of us. This is an interesting point, especially because of the mission. It's like a covert raid that we did. You don't really get a decent sense of what a key role you played because of how sort of, for the sake of the mission itself, it's kind of a filler mission. And for the sake of the mission itself, you kind of get the impression that it's kind of a filler mission because it's just like valuable minerals or something like that, where it could have been with just a little bit of tweaking. It could have been like, oh, these are how they make their microchips for targeting computers. If they can't repair their targeting computers, which are necessary for this like hostile environment, they're not going to be able to shoot accurately, and so we can feasibly win with fewer forces in direct combat, even if they're, because they'll be shooting blind. And so the knocking out of those resources and our gaining of the resources could remove a directorate advantage and give it to us that translates into a direct combat advantage for taking over the planet. That's, I guess, headcanon that I just came up with right now, but that's also the story tweak that I would have made that would have made this sort of like make better sense. That's not a bad thing to say. I like that alright. It's what we're here for. That's not a very friendly thing to say. And that's like deliberately endangering the diplomatic effort that's happening right now. So don't do that. Okay, and she's nice about it. Okay, here we go. So I don't remember that Lord Madeira is from Goldra, but apparently the commander does. Uh-huh. And what are we supposed to find there? That's probably how, like, if this was me, that's exactly how I would answer. I go, okay, and then we'll talk to her about it. House Madeira's, that's how you say it. House Madeira's insurance policy. So he should have known something about this, probably. This is all very vague. Like, this is definitely not the intel you would want to be receiving, like, if it's your linchpin to success. Okay. Let's see what he says. Uh-oh. Something bad has happened. Fuel air explosion. Castle Gallus is gone. It's tragic. This is probably the best the best point we can make. All right. So her first reaction is to go help her people, which is good enough. Um, uh, Kind of bounced between a sudden introduction of a character to their sudden demise very quickly, um, and the emotional reaction, since it's all done in text, is pretty hard to gauge. Like, what would you be feeling in this? Like, you get this little snippet of information, and then uh, your new ally is tragically cut out of it. That's also another leader of a great house that we've lost. And I think, aren't there only 5 total? So we're only down to 3 plus the Oranos, if I remember right. Okay. So he plans to make this trip alone. Um, this is all interesting character development because the tactical value of Madeira is questionable, as in like he has diplomatic value in this conflict, which we'll see comes into play later. But like he doesn't have an army, he doesn't have a planet, he doesn't have anything, and he is now an asset to getting this intelligence. So her not like this is obviously an emotional reaction. It's not a tactical decision. And he's got a point. He's doing the right thing. He says, you know, it doesn't need to be a fight. If I can get in there and get out, it should be fine. Kind of a naive assessment, but that's, I mean, we're the rebels. Naivete is our business. I like that point well enough. It's kind of a snide remark. It's also true, but we'll go with this for now. All right. She gets her head back on straight. We'll take a leaf out of the Exos page and steal his line. He's the one that always says stuff like this. All right, everyone back to work. Okay. Another Shadowhawk, another Centurion. Gonna need to do some mech repairs? I don't really think so. I don't know what programming has him say that. Maybe if so many mechs aren't in the ready state or something. I don't know. Okay. Let's look at Itram. Yeah, pretty sure that's what it's called. Here's Hacker. He's a Kickstarter. We will need another scout. Let's look at Whiskey. Independent Trader, Merchant Ship Officer. That's pretty decent. Mercenary Recruit, Merchant Ship Crew. These guys are pretty similar. 3353, 2534. Their stats are pretty much the same as well. Gonna look at Mamba. Oregon Tech School, independent trader, and smuggler. Oh, he's got a lot of experience. Probably going to be going with him then. Create a Henin, periphery commoner, periphery, Tortuga. I don't really know any the Tortuga story. Probably a pirate base. But this guy would be a pretty good rebel to hire, so we'll bring him on. Alright, and now the store. They're selling complete archers, complete fire starters, complete stalker. What else cool? They got arm mods, gyros, +1 melee hit, +2 hit defense. That's a good gyro. Asking price is very high, but that's not wrong. +2 hit defense is really good. Leg mod, and then everything else is standard fare. I think we got some dupes to sell. We pulled 2 mechs off the field. I don't know if the Centurion AL is one that we already had, though. There's the Shadowhawk. Nope, looks like it was new. It would have been up here, right? Yeah. So that's all fine. And then let's look at contracts for next time. We've got a lot of stuff to do. That's a polar map. That's exciting. Hostile insertion. Hard target. Hot landing. And then a favor to regret. These are all battles, and that's all just fine. Similar to the last Mector, the last planet that we were on. We'll probably grind through all of those. And the payouts are really good. Even if we delve into salvage, a lot of them are 4 out of 19. Okay, so that's where we are for right now. I will save the game really quick, and thank you guys for watching. See you next time.